Hello everybody, welcome to the stream today. Oh my god. I am really freaking tired, man. Like the past week I've been crunching. but we pulled through, and I think from this thing and onwards, I'm not gonna be able. I don't have to crunch for my work anymore. Because one of the resolutions that I have for the new year is that I want to stop taking rush commissions so that I can have more time for myself. And I now have time for myself. Yeah. Well, not yet, but still. I'm about to have time for myself. Oh. Wait, hold on. Let me adjust my desk real quick. Like, I don't know why I decided to stream. Why I decided to stream while my desk is set to like standing height. Give me a moment. Let me just adjust my desk. But so something I'm gonna keep doing throughout the stream is I'm gonna keep sighing like that. Dog, I'm just so tired. But, hey, now I get to do something that fulfills me. Just to hang out on stream. Because the last time I did that, I had so much fun. Like, I streamed for 5 hours. Like, what the holy shit? That was crazy. Right now I'm drinking honey ginger tea. Right. I know, I'm not drinking matcha latte, but I've been a bit sick the past week, or the past few weeks. So a bit of honey ginger tea helps. And then, oh my god, I wanted to say that today, this morning, I had breakfast, and I've been on a phase where I would make kanji for breakfast every day. Like, you found me at a very Chinese time in my life. Hold on, let me see if I can pull up pictures. I made kanji with a bunch of different toppings. Where's my Twitter? I think I posted it. Yeah, I posted this on an alt account. Uno Memento. Look, like I I stuffed my kanji with a ton of toppings. Like, they're so like kanji is just really good for the soul, and I think I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep making kanji for breakfast every day. Well, not every day, but still. Okay, let me move this. Oh goodness. Oh dearie me. Me adjust. Okay, let's go here. Look at that kanji! Oh my goodness. I had some blanched bok choy, some imitation crabs, dried shrimps that are sautéed, and some dried anchovies back there. I think somewhere here you can see some. I'm not sure where it is, but you can see some toasted garlic, and then of course green onions, sesame seeds, shrimp oil. I think I made shrimp oil, and then I just drizzled them on top along with some sesame oil. Oh my goodness, it was so good. And then, this is another one that I made. This time it's with some pretty runny boiled eggs. So good. Oh man, I'm craving for more. Oh, like at the same time, like I'm also craving for. So I'm craving for wait, let me go back. It's just chatting. I also have cravings for American breakfast. Like I've talked about this for a long time. But like I would love to have. Like I would love to go to an old American diner just so that I could eat some waffles or like chicken and waffles or bacon and eggs, pancakes, pies. But like I don't have that around me here, so like I think I would have to just make them myself, which is a bit I mean, like I can do it, but like trying to make all of those ingredients, trying to make all of those dishes, like it's a lot of it's a lot of work. Like just trying to make waffles alone, like waffles by itself, it's a bit of a hassle. And then if I want to make chicken and waffles, chicken is also a pain because like you have to marinate the chicken for like overnight. And like that's not even considering the fact that you have to deep fry them. Like it's just annoying. Like it's sure like I can do it, but like I have to be in a specific mood where I'm feeling a bit more. I feel like I would like those days where I feel like I would want to go through the trouble of making all of those dishes. But I think those days will come like once in a blue moon. Well, like that also applies to like that also applies to like when I decide to make pies, because like I only make pies on holidays. Like I as much as I love making pies, I like every time I make pies I always forget how frustrating it is to make pies, because I live in a warmer area, and but the butter in the pie crust, they melt so quickly. So like, oh my goodness, can't do this. But I've learned that making apple pies is a lot easier than making something like pumpkin pie, because with apple pie you just have to bake them once, whereas if you're making pumpkin pie, like you have to after you've shaped the crust into your container, you have to put it in the freezer for like 20 minutes, and then you bake it for like 20 minutes I think, and then you have to let it cool down in the freezer, and then you have to bake it again with all of the fillings. So like it's a lot of work, whereas if you're making an apple pie, you just shape the pie crust, pour in the filling, put the top thingies on the pie. Like you can choose to do like patterns on your pie if you want to, or you can just do like a simple cover on it. It's it's a lot easier than making pumpkin pies. So maybe I'll make pies more often, like just those types of pies where I don't have to bake them twice. Yeah, today I woke up. I submitted my work, and the insane thing about me is that I submitted my work a day ahead of the deadline, and like that deadline is like a soft deadline. And I am pretty friggin' proud of myself because of because I finished a complex MV within like, I don't know, 8 days, 7 days. Like I could finish a complex MV within like 5 days or less if I have to. But I don't want to crunch like that anymore, which is why I'm not taking rush comms this year. But the caveat is that if it's up to me if I want to add more projects to my queue. And it's a bit difficult trying to have self-control whenever someone DMs me asking me to work on something. It's like, oh, I'm seeing dollar signs. Like theoretically, I could just crunch a little bit and get some more pocket change. This year, I decided it's not worth it's not worth all that. Because I can get by pretty well. So no rush comps. Thank you. my god! Today after I submitted my work, I spent my day basically just chilling, watching some live streams. So I watched Leo yap for 2 hours, and then after that he played My Hero Academia All's Justice, and I was like, ah, that game looks fun. And so I impulse bought the game, and I also played the game after watching the stream. And then after that I did not realize how long I was playing the game for, and I realized that I only had like 2 hours left until my scheduled stream. Oh wait, let me check again. Is my stream going? Is my stream working on YouTube? Okay, yeah, it does. Hi YouTube. And so I crunched. I'm not free from crunch even when I'm streaming, man. I crunched my ass off. Sorry, I crunched my butt off. Hold on, let me change my screen because I've had enough of dilly-dallying, and now I want to show my stuff, like the thing that I'm gonna be talking about today. Oh wait, hold on. Let's go here. Hello everybody, welcome to my Ed Talk. Today I'll be doing an After Effects MV breakdown for my Remind Blue MV that I worked on for Jubiphonic. It's a 5-minute complex MV. And before we get into my slides, let's play the video in its entirety. Not to glaze myself, but I just really like how I made this MV look. Like all these details here, like they're all from the wiki. This is all about, like, these are all like things that Jin wrote about Summertime Record. So we first see Shintaro years after the story, coming back home from work. And then on the way back home, like, he sees things. Sees things that reminds him of his past. His youth. I'll get into the significance of the date later. Because like August 15th is the date for Kagura Project. But, yeah, that's not the date. It's not the date. That's not the date that I'm showing in the MV. And that's for a reason. Let me make this a bit quieter. I love this scene so much. Like with those 3 panels, and then the split, like the white, and then the sky in the back. I really like how I came up with that. Again, this is a stream of me glazing myself. But I hope that if you're here, I hope that you get to learn I hope that you get to learn a thing or two. Now it's just him shopping in a little convenience store. That's him using his iPhone 7. No, that is like him using an iPhone 7 was due to the fact that I could not find a different asset, and I did not have time to draw an iPhone 13 or 15. If I had the time, I would have given his phone the liquid glass look. But alas, we make do with what we have. This still gets the point across. This part here is like a quick fire. It's like a rapid fire involved with the callbacks to all the popular Kagura Project songs. I invented this look. Oh, maybe I'm not the first, but I came to creating this manga style look all by myself, and I'll teach you guys how to do that later in the stream. And then this part went through a couple of revisions, but I think it looked really cool. Like, I'm glad that I took the time to rework that, because previously like it looked cool, like it just did not fit the overall look of the MV, which I'll also show later. Subscribe to Jubiphonic. Hold on, let me drop this link here. Chat. Also, I want to mention that I made the slide, and I will. Well, I mean, yeah, like I will include a PDF, or maybe I should just include a link to this slide as is. I'll share the link to the slide after the stream. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I show. Right, everybody. Welcome to my Ed Talk, where I'll be talking about the After Effects MV breakdown for the Remind Blue MV. The agendas that I'll cover today are top 10 details you might have missed, the overall story outline, and the asset planning that I had to and the asset planning to make this MV work, because it's a story, and like it's one of the few MVs where I get to tell a story without using story art, which is it's a new style. It's a new style that I've been doing, because story MVs, they typically require you to work with story art, but with the style that I'm doing nowadays, like the style that I'm doing now, I want to just use like a few sprites and use them in creative ways in different scenes to be able to tell a story with as little art as possible. And I've been honing it, and I think I kind of like how it's coming along. And then I'll go through the storyboarding process. I'll show my storyboard. And what else? Oh, and then I will go through like how I create huge scenes in After Effects. And then I'll provide a few effects tutorials that I'll talk about later, and the session for the Q&A if there is any questions. Also, hello Chloe from YouTube. Welcome to the stream. All right, if you're there to watch the MV just now, the first detail that that I added, but like it's not really obvious, was the silhouettes. It's it's the like the silhouettes are the silhouettes of the younger versions of Aido, Kido, Seto, and Kano. And I based their designs off of Ayano theory of happiness, envy. Oh wait, let me hide my PNG real quick. There, you can see. Oh, can I turn on my laser pointer? There we go. Mom, look, I'm doing a presentation. So here you can see the headphones I drew on. You can see those little dots I drew on. Those diamond dots I drew on here. And then I drew like a little square green thing on the hoodie there as well. Right, that's okay. Let me put my PNG back on. Also, hi, H35 WKS12. Welcome to the stream. Detail number 2. It's a bus code. It says KP107. Stands for Kagura Project, and then 107 is the number of the apartment that is used as the hideout for Mekakushidan. Like the reason why these two things appear here is it's to signify that Shintaro was like he's remembering things from his past, and like those two things like gonna just pop up in his periphery. Hi, Chloe. Hi again. And then next detail. August 22nd. Like I put August 22nd as a date instead of August 15th because it is exactly 1 week after the August 15th date, which is the date for the Kagura Project series. Like it's the date where the days would happen, where things would loop around, or like you would be stuck in a time loop. Like, this is the date where it happens, and like I set it to write August 22nd here is because it's been a week and like he just doesn't think about like he didn't think about it until like a week later. What am I doing in this live? I am talking about the music video that I made for Jubiphonic. Here, let me go back real quick. It's this MV. It's our cover of Remind Blue from the Kagura Project series. It's a Vocaloid song. I made this video and I would like to and I'm here to just talk about it. Anyway, back to the slides. Number 4. Detail number 4. Grab my laser real quick. So when Shintaro was looking at this wall grid, there and like the one thing that sticks out a little bit is that there is only one Polaroid, and it's one of the only picture Shintaro holds on to of Ayano, and he doesn't really have that picture saved in any other medium, because if you look at the other pictures, you can see that these are all like printed on like regular well, they're not paper, like when you print pictures out from a store, like they look like this with the thin white border. But for the picture of Ayano, it's just a Polaroid, and you can see that it looks more desaturated, and it's a little bit of storytelling just in this one thing alone. Whereas if you look at the other pictures, the pictures are a lot more vibrant. Like the black part looks darker, the white parts look more bright. Whereas in this one, they're a bit Like they're all a lot more muted. Drew all by yourself? No, I worked with a team. Go back into the. Oh wait, where is it? Here. If you go in the credits of this video, it says that I worked on the animation, whereas I worked with Yudo here and Tirami. These are the artists who drew for this video. Bye. Bye, Chloe. Thank you for stopping by. Okay. Next scene. Next slide. Okay. Next detail. September 4th. There's not much of a deeper meaning to this. It's just that it's like a little like close to like 2 weeks since the August 22nd date. That's it. And then next detail. All the oh shit. Oh shoot. Forgive my French. Okay. Alright, that was a misinput. Okay. Next slide is the detail from earlier, from the first 2 slides, where it says KP 107, and then the silhouettes here, they're all gone. And here, and that's because Shintaro does not think about his past anymore. Like, that's it. But then he he sees a picture of Ayano on his phone because of this widget on his phone. Like, have you guys ever been in a situation where an old picture comes up on your phone and then bad memories or painful memories come back? It's I feel like that's a really relatable experience that happened here. That's why this scene leads into him thinking about his past again. Then, okay, this is like a small detail, but every time the chorus ends, it ends with the scene fading away with like an inky, like it looks like it's being washed away. And then at the same time, Ayano is also fading. Like you can see that it's her. You can only see her outline, but then the rest of her body is fading away. It's a little detail that I kept going for the first 2 chorus sections. I just like having little detail like that to add to the story. All right, now quick fire round. This shot here is a reference to both, or rather, this whole section is a reference to additional memory, where the screen keeps splitting in half. And then I decided that when the screen is being split in half, I might as well throw in another reference to the old MVs, the old Kagura Project songs. Like this one, it's Summertime Record. This here. It's a mix of Kaguro days. As you can see in the background, you see a lot of circles, clocks, and street sign, and then also Never Lost Word, where I just put in random text and made it purple. That is the extent of that. And then next is Days, as I really like the anime fence. Okay, it's a look that I am never tired of. Like, of course, you can't do that. You can't do that too often. But I'm like, since I'm working on the Kagura project, MV, like I had to do this. It's a must, I would say. And then next is the outer signs. There's just like that. You can see the rectangles and lines. And Tomy answer. God, I loved coming up with this look. Like, sure, an easy way would be to just make the art be black and white, and then I can accentuate the dark section and the bright sections to make it look like it's like a monotone manga art. But like, I thought that it would look cooler if there's like a splash of red and the manga hatching style on this. And then, ooh, okay, this one. One thing I really wanted to do in the first two slides, like when he was walking around, like when Shintaro was walking back home. I excuse me. Something I consider adding is it's 1,000 paper cranes. But I like after thinking about it for a bit, don't I didn't think it was feasible to make it look good in that scene. So I delegated that idea to just being like a flight of birds. If like it's like a flight of birds flying, but instead of birds, it's paper cranes. And let me play them on video again. Oh, here. There it is. It appears for just for a few seconds. Oh, it's flying, and it's gone. And you can see those birds in the first two choruses, but because of the fact that the sky was bright, you can barely see them. You see those little white blobs. That's it. And they're gone. Yeah, let me pause. There they are. Paper crane. That's a paper crane. That's a paper crane. That's it. It's like the significance of the paper crane is like it goes back to Tommy Answer, where Aino made paper cranes for Shintaro, and it always looms over him. And then the last detail that I wanted to mention is January 16th in the final shot of the MV. Well, I mean, I could talk more. I could talk more about this, more than just the date, but it's like I chose this date because it was my original deadline, and also it lines up with the fact that it's in the new year, and Shintaro in the New Year's, like he has a resolution to treat the memories of his childhood, like he wants to give more respect to the memories of his childhood, and he wants to preserve them better than to just hang them up by clips on the wall grid. And like he decides to frame them properly and give them like make sure that the images won't deteriorate as easily. And aside from that, you can also see that he's getting into cars, he's getting into music, like playing guitar, getting into drawing, getting into things like Japanese architecture, and patterns, and it's him growing as a person to have his own interests later in his adulthood. Just what the song is really all about. Oh. I forgot that I okay, hold on. Okay, rewind. Now you might be asking, what is this? I mistyped. Ignore that. Hold on. Hold on. You know what? Let me edit that real quick. What is this MV really about? You did not see that typo, okay? Okay. Now you might be thinking, what is this MV really about? Well, the simplest answer would be Shintaro just does some. He does. Shintaro does some housekeeping in his apartment. That is like the most. That is the simplest takeaway that you can have from this MV. But if you, but like seriously though, it conveys the same story as the song. Uh, like it's the same story as the song itself conveys. As Juby said, it's to. Well, let me move my thing real quick. As Juby said, it's to look back on the good old days of your youth. Oh shit. Fighting the sadness of becoming an adult and coming to terms with that. Coming to terms with the fact that you're an adult now. And I'm Unk, man. I'm getting old. I'm going to turn 25. Anyway, when I was first to reached out to make this MV like a while ago, like I think it was like back in July, August, October. I forgot. Like it's been a while. Like when I was first reached out to, I wrote this. Like I wrote like a little story outline from the intro. Like I wrote the story from like the from like in the format of the song. From the intro, like just I wanted to go all in on the nostalgia part because you want to think back about the past, man. And then in verse one, like Shintaro's coming back from work, and he said he sees things that remind him of his childhood, or his teen years with the Megakashidan. That's why he saw the bus and the silhouettes. And then once he comes back home, he sees the calendar on the wall. It's the end of August. Like he missed the he didn't think about this until like it's the end of August. Like he is an adult. He's an adult. He's a busy guy. He has things going on in his life. Then he sees his younger self in this red jacket, and then the chorus happens. And Ayano farms nostalgia and sad moments. I wrote that bar for bar. That is my only note for the chorus. And then verse two, the things that reminds him of his past are gone. And then he's gonna go to a convenience store to get some supplies. And then when he looks at his phone, the thing where like have you ever had the thing where have you ever gone through this situation where you look at your phone and then the gallery widget on your home screen shows like a picture of your ex or a screenshot of your or a picture of your old friends that you don't hang out with anymore, and like he just feel a bit emo over something like that. Like it that has happened to me, and that has happened to a lot of people on Twitter. Hold on, excuse me. Let me have a quick drink. I love honey ginger tea. The okay, and then the bridge. I in the bridge section, like it's a slow segment, and I wanted to hone in on Tomy answer style, with it just looking like sketchy and black and white, and then the chorus repeats, and then in the end it shows that he's kind of moved on, but also he's making sure that his memories are preserved, and that's it. Like that is the story. And then the camera zooms out, and you can see that he is also getting into a lot of other things in his life, like he's pursuing Let me go back. You can see that he's doing a bit of music. He's getting into cars. He's interested in ancient patterns, like Japanese architecture patterns. He's doing some art. Doing He's interested in a bit of bamboo patterns as well, and also like he's just he's getting into doing decor in his house. Like that's it's him growing, basically growing as a person, just having other things going on. Like that is the story. So with that story in mind, I needed to plan out assets for this MV, and I listed out these things. These are all the things that I needed from the artist. I told like I listed out two half bodies of Shintaro as an adult, wearing a suit with a work lanyard. One of them is a side profile, and one of them is a front profile. And then one full body as a teen. That's him right there. And then another one is, and then for Ayano, I wanted, I needed her to have one side profile that matches with Shintaro's side profile, and I specified that I needed Shintaro to have eye contact with Ayano, and that's how they look together. I think you can see that in this shot. Yeah, this here and here. Him looking at Ayano. And it's it's so good when art is drawn to be when the art is drawn in a way that they can work well on its own, but they can also but then they can come together to mean something else. And then a few other assets that I needed from the artist were the Shintaro jacket on a hanger. It's seen in the wall here. That's the jacket. And then I specified that I would like to have the paper crane and the flower vase. I didn't take a screenshot of that, but it's here. It's paper crane. And that's the flower vase. These are like the important story beats that happened in Tommy Answer. And then, on my end, I had to prepare a lot of other assets too that are specific to this MV. I needed the phone in hand mockup. I went on CSP and I found this, and then I had to edit the colors around to make it match with Shintaro's skin tone. And then there's this children's silhouette. I made this by just using 3D models in CSP, Clip Studio Paint, and I just took the outline of the 3D models and I just filled them into silhouettes, and then I colored it. Then I added details like the hair and the hoodie, the hair. Wait, the hair, the hoodie, and the clothes. And then this this is that shot of this is the wallpaper that people used for Kagura project. Let's see if I can find the original reference. Kagura project. Let's see, wallpaper. Oh, okay, found it. Oh, hold on. Open image, new tab. There it is. This one. There, it is like bar for bar, just that. But I did not do the Japanese characters in the background because I did not I didn't think that it would be readable, so might as well just not do it. And then I went on CSP, Studio Paint, get a bunch of these assets. Like, these are all 3D models except for the crowd. These are the assets that I extracted, and I just exported them to PNGs. I put them in the city, this the city scenes. Okay, now it's storyboard time. Okay, all right, hold on. Let me switch to my just chatting screen real quick, because I needed to scroll past a few things. Alright, now we are in the meat and the bones. Let's go to here. Oh, this is cuffed. Hold on. You wide? Okay, there we go. Saved. Anyway. Oh. Here. Every time I make a make a music video, like I'll always make a write down all of the keywords, like things I'll need, like textures, patterns, fonts, some other detail. Then I'll make a Pinterest board. Let me open this in a new tab, just to be sure that I'm not gonna reveal anything. Okay, yeah. I made a Pinterest board of like the overall look that I want to refer to for this MV. This is a closer look at my mood board. Like usually I'll make the mood board like after I've written down the keywords for my storyboard. You can kind of see the image I had in mind when I wanted to make this, and I think it came through pretty well in the end. Like when I make a storyboard, like I'll always write things down. Oh, this is not. Let me just remove that. I'll always write down a lot of things. Oh, hello, NeuroPixel. Can you break down how you lay out the storyboard doc too? Good question. You know, I'll do that in a bit after I'm done with this part. Okay. When I make a storyboard, like I have a template ready, which with all of the things that I'll need in place, and then after that, I'll put in the lyrics. I'll have them segmented out to different sections, different color coded sections. So like usually I'll have white as like the intro, bridge, outro, because like those are like scenes where I don't have to put in too much effort in, but I also know that I can use them later on for filling in the gaps. And then green, like I use I color code green as like the verse sections, where it's it may or may not be usable in the later scene. So I have them arranged that way. Then blue is the pre-chorus, which may or may not also be reused later on. And then the red is for the chorus part. It's where a lot of the detail is. Oof, that is it's a lot of stuff going on. And then at the very bottom, I have a few. I have a little thing. Oh, let me delete this. Okay, these are all the notes for like my clients or just for myself. Well, sorry, fancier typography, and then how the color code works. Okay, let's go back. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, and then this is something that I do a lot. Is that when I make a storyboard, I don't do them in a Google slide. Most people do storyboards in a Google slide. Oh, app break inbound. Okay, I'll have a quick pause during the app break. But I like to make my storyboards in a Google Doc, kind of like a script. And to me it just feels nicer because I get to arrange things in a linear fashion, and I typically would just write things down. I don't really need visual representation of like things being put down scene by scene. I just need to have like one reference and then that's it, and then like a bunch of notes. Like here, I just wrote title card, topography, and then days. That's it. And okay, now that you mentioned that, Nero, let me show how my storyboard typically starts out. Because I completely overlooked the fact that I have a structure when I approach making a storyboard. Excuse me. Where is it? Script. There it is. When I make a storyboard, I have this template ready for me. Usually, the original, like I will hyperlink this with the song, and this is just for my client to like if I'm sending this to a client, like they can see this and they will know to do that, because if they have it set to like default, like medium or narrow, like it's gonna be offset towards the side, whereas they adjust it to wide, it looks a lot better. And when I have a storyboard, like I'll always go through things like the overall look. This is where I'll put down keywords and a screenshot to the Pinterest mood board here. And the colors, like sometimes I'll make specific color palettes. Sometimes it's just vibes. It depends. And then I'll have like a list of things like key items, fashion, architecture, time and place, traditional / digital media, pacing and style, lore if any, textures, patterns, fonts, title fonts, main font, accent fonts, and then the Pinterest mood board link. And then of course the credits. And like depending on the project, like I may or may not need fashion and architecture. I may or may not need time and place. I may or may not need any lore, because sometimes there's no lore to be told in the story. And like the most important bits for me, in my opinion, are colors and concepts, textures, patterns, fonts. That's it. Like these are all like things that would just help if I need more. If I need to hone in on a specific look. For the most part, I just need fonts, patterns, and textures. That's really it. Yeah. I like this is just the way I stay organized, but like having the timestamp being written down, it helps me know which part I'm working on, because sometimes I'll forget that I'm working on the second chorus, but then I'm looking at the first chorus, and then sometimes sometimes like things will be different in the second chorus, and then I'll forget to change things around because I'm looking at the first chorus notes. So the timestamp here just helps. And the lyrics here. Oh, and also like I have it in the script like this because it's a lot more convenient to copy paste the lyrics into After Effects, in my opinion, because like I usually do them in chunks like this. Like I did them in like a whole in chunks of like a one entire verse, or like one entire chorus, or at least half a chorus. And it's to me it's more convenient to just have them all in one screen like this, as opposed to having to switch through a bunch of slides until I get to see until I get the words out that I need. Oh, no, oh, let me talk about how I came up with this one scene. Where is it? Oh yeah. So on my Pinterest, when I was like putting things down in my storyboard, I was just mashing ideas together. At first, I took this image, I copy pasted it into this, and then I took this image, and then I pasted it into this part, and then I looked at this side by side, and I'm like, wait a second, this looks really good if I place them side by side like this. That's how I came up. That's how this shot came to be. Like this shot exists because I made because of this one little happenstance of me just copy pasting. Oh, ad break starting now. Okay, I'm gonna take a short break. Have a sip of my drink. I hope that if you're here without the ads, I hope that you're having a nice day. Things are going well for you. I, for one, am having a good time. It is a bit tiring to talk for like. It is a bit tiring to talk a lot, but like, yeah, I'm having fun. It's like what I'm doing here is basically like I'm actually giving a presentation, and it's it's something that I kind of miss doing because I used to do like back when I was still studying. Like I used to do a lot of presentations, like a lot more than usual in my course, and I liked doing that. So I just miss doing this. I like having things prepared and then having to talk about it uh, to people. Oh, I should also stretch. Oh, my bones. Oh my goodness. Can you hear my shoulder? Kinda. Oh my god. Like my shoulder is being. My shoulder is there, and like I can see my OBS just going green. Anyway, ad break over. Welcome back to the stream. Um, where was I? Oh yeah, like this. Wait, where is it? This scene came to be because because of a little happenstance. I'm so glad that it happened because like I'm really proud of how this looks. Like and this shot was also really heavy to make because like I need to pre-comp these scenes into these shapes. So like I'm not rendering one scene, I'm rendering 4 scenes. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Like this entire thing. So it's a bit of a heavy render, but luckily for me, I have a beefy PC. Not too much of a problem. Hmm. Oh yeah, something that really helps with me having things color coded in this way is that makes it so that I know how to pace myself. I would be like if I'm working on the white scenes, I know that I shouldn't be putting in too much effort into it because they're not gonna be the important shots. Like they're not gonna be the money maker, as I would say it. But then if I'm working on these scenes, I know that on the green sections, I know that I need to put in a bit more effort to make it look uh to make it look more interesting. But I need to keep the pacing in mind because at the same time I don't want to go too hard that it overshadows the chorus sections, which should be the most complex part. And then the blue is where things chill a bit. Like I would have to dial things back and make it look simpler, so that the chorus has when the chorus comes in, and when a lot more elements come in into the MV in the chorus section, things would hit a lot more. It's the same concept when you're making music, where you would do like where the verse would be pretty high-ish, like medium energy, and then the pre-chorus would be low energy, and then the chorus would be high energy. When you do things in that kind of pacing, you make it so that the chorus has a lot more impact compared to what came before. That's how I pace my scenes. But it also depends on the song. But like for the most part, that is how I do pacing in my storyboards. You can see that you can see the sheer difference in how much detail I put into the verse sections. And then the pre-chorus is just a little bit, just a few things here and there, and then the chorus is like a full blown. Like a lot more things going on. That's how. That's how I do my storyboard. Okay, moving on. Wait, let me pull up my notes. Oh yeah. The next part is I will walk through how I build the huge scenes. What's that? This one. Where's one? Okay, here we go. If this can load. Oh wait, so change that camera. There we go. I think I can make this to adaptive resolution. There we go. Hopefully my stream does not crash, or at least my After Effects doesn't crash. Because if it does, oh boy, it's a bit like it's a bit scary for me to put on my After Effects on screen, because I'm a bit scared of my NDA work being shown. So like it's always a bit scary for me to show my After Effects. Anyway, when I'm making a scene, it's something I used to something I used to do is that I would limit the depth of my scenes to just like 2000 on the Z space, like on the Z dimension. But I've learned from a friend that I should not do that. I should go up to like 10K or 20K even, if I want to make scenes with a lot of depth. So if I add a camera layer, camera, and then I move things around, things have a lot of depth to them. Like, you see that? Like I need to layer things in a way that there's always a lot of distance between the layers, so that when you move your camera around in the scene, it does not look like it doesn't look like it's just like a still, empty and bland scene. Like even in the clouds, like I have a lot of things going on. Like, not things. I have a lot of depth going on. Or never mind. Oh wait, no, my bad. In the clouds, I did not do a lot of. I did not layer the clouds that much in terms of the Z positioning. I still made sure that it is like there's a decent amount of space from the clouds and the sky there. That is a one. That is number one. Number two, when I make when I try to think about making a scene, I always try to imagine of like what it's like if I'm holding the camera. Like do I want the camera to be at like the subject's height? Do I want it to be like I'm looking down on them? Do I want to be like I'm looking up at them? Like the camera positioning matters in that sense where that conveys story. Let me reset the position of this camera. It's like when I made the scene, like the image I had in mind is that I wanted you to be in the I wanted you to feel like you're in the crowd with Shintaro. So like there's a lot of silhouettes in the foreground, and you can just see a lot of things just going on. But I didn't add too many detail like off camera because like that would just be too much work, and like it would be a lot of work, and I'm not gonna be able to show that off in the video. So like you need to be smart about like what detail to add in the scene. It's like I thought about making. Yeah, I thought about like adding like a road mark on this part, but like it's because of the camera being like shoulder height as Shintaro, and then there's also the fact that there's gonna be borders like this. We reset. Like you're not really gonna see the road marks that much. Like you should be able to see them here, but like I decided to not include that because they will be covered by the walking crowds. So the corner that I decided to cut because it's gonna be work that I'm not really gonna be able to show off. However, the one detail that I did decide to add. Well, I mean, I added a lot of detail, but like one small detail that I added is you see the crossing, like the traffic light. First, it where is it? Okay, there it is. At first, it lights up as red. Later on, lights up as green, and then later on in this part, I think I'll just play it in this video. You can see that the lights, the street, the crossing, like the crosswalk light, it blinks. There it is. See it blinking? And then not only that, they blink and it's like delay. Like they're not completely in sync. Okay, here. First, this light blinks out. And then two frames later, this light blinks out. And then it just blinks ahead of delay. It's a really small detail that I didn't really have to add, but I decided to add it anyway because I just since it's gonna be in the view, I might as well because when you look at it when you look at uh street lights in real life, like they're not completely in sync. And I think it's an interesting detail to add. It doesn't really do anything, but in my opinion, small details add up. It's something that you should consider when making scenes like this. And then like something that I was thinking about when I was making this scene is that I wanted it to feel like the sunset was hitting you in the face. Okay, there we go. I wanted to make it look like it's completely washed in the sun. So like I made it so that the lens flare is a bit much, and the exposure it's a bit washed, and like I'm imagining like you're just gonna get blinded by the sun. That's why this part over here is completely overexposed. So, and then you can add a little detail around here around your scenes to make it feel like it's lived in, and that happens in the outro. When I made the outro, I wanted it to feel a bit lived in, and a little detail that I use to do that is to add in a plant and this calendar. This calendar here, in the previous scene, it was like it had like a gray, like a dark gray, well, bright. It's like a medium gray, like a medium gray binder thing going on, and then I just change it to red because like it's a small bit of storytelling where Shintaro could not find he could not find exact color for the calendar, so he had to just buy another calendar with a different color. With a different color. It's a small bit of storytelling there, and on top of everything else that's going on here, because like if you think about the vinyls, you can think you can make inferences that he's probably either a fan of these mans or he's using it as like as like an art piece. Like he just took like some old vinyls and then he's putting pictures on it. Or you could like there are many different conclusions that you can draw from that. It's a like you can leave them all up to interpretation. I think oh yeah, this is a map of Japan actually. That's a little tidbit that I remember. Oh, and then another thing here is that I specifically chose these frames for these art here because I wanted to imply that whenever Shintaro makes his own drawings, like he would only frame them in these like with these frames, whereas whereas everything else they can be framed in a different picture frame. Like he keeps it a bit standardized with just the black frames. But then the INO frame is a bit different because it's something a little bit more special to him and it's one of a kind. So it goes in a white frame. Like these little detail, like it's all it doesn't really mean much, but like and it tells a story of like how maybe he can't find exactly the same picture frames for all of his stuff, or maybe like he just gets them all from like a thrift store and like he doesn't have matching frames. Like it's like these are little tidbits that kind of just tells a bit of a story. It's what I like to imply in my stuff. So, what can you what okay to summarize? When I build scenes, do not be scared of going over 10,000 in the Z dimension. I think I've gone up to like 220,000, but like I forgot which project that was for. And then when you make a scene, you gotta imagine yourself in the space. You need to imagine of like you need to think about what it's like to be standing there. What are the little details of like your five senses? Like of course, what do you see? What do you hear? Like if you think you're in an environment where there would be cars or birds or waves or winds, You need to jot that down, and you need to make it so that you can represent that visually whenever possible. Like, let's say like you're hearing something like winds and waves at a beach. You need to make it so that there's like a wind blowing, like for the leaves. See if there's anything in the background that you can add, something like a tree, something like just leaves falling, or something like dust, and make them move. And if not, and if you can't add things to a scene like that, then you can add something like something in the foreground, like shadows or anything of the sort. Like you need to be a bit creative in that sense. That's what you can hear. Like you need to rely on your five senses. What else? Something that you can smell. Let's say that if it smells like smog, and then you can add a bit of a bit of black smoke in your scenes. You can use like a smoke, or no, you can use like a fog overlay, and you make it so that the fog is dark, and then that way that is like a way for you to convey that there's like a smog going on in your scenes. If you want to convey that's going on, or if you think that it would smell, then you can add flies. If it smells good, you can maybe add flower petals falling in the scene, or you can add candles. What else? Sight, smell, hearing, touch, touch. Oh, touch would be good if you're working on a close up scene. Like if you're making something like something on paper. Like if you're making scenes that are done on paper, or things that are done on the wall, you need to add a lot of texture to make it so that it looks like you can almost see this little paper fiber, or you can see like a little dust and cracks and little crumbly bits on a wall, like that. When you think about touch, you can think about those things. And then what else? What else? Taste. If you want to add something based on your sense of taste, is there anything you can add? I mean, I guess you can add some food. I guess if you want to think about that. But let me add this in the slide real quick. Think of the your think of the five. Five senses, and add detail based on what you think might be in those. What you think might be possible for your scenes. How big does the floor and background asset need to be? Okay, floor. If you're making the floor can be insane. Also, thank you for the question, Nero. The floor especially can be very can be massive. Hold on, let me look for my floor layer. I think it's this one. That's not it. That's the sun. Okay, I have like two floor layers going on. Like for the floor, I have the sizing of the solid set to like 100%. No, 1,000%. And then this part, like I wanted this is like I use this black part as like a fill for the buildings, and then the gray part here is like a fill for the road. Usually I just use solids and shapes for that, because it's not really something that will be in the focus, so it's like I would just omit that detail. You're talking about things like the backgrounds, like the buildings back here. You kind of you don't really need things to be big. You can use like 720p picture if you have it. Like if that's all you have, then it's fine. Because like whenever I build these type of scenes, like I'll always apply a blur, and you're not really gonna see a lot of like detail when they're far out in the background, especially when they're blurred. So the background asset, it doesn't really need to be all that detailed, but if you plan to use it in other scenes, it would be nice. But see, like, let me show you the size of my buildings. Building. This is Skylines. This is a 1920 times 1920 thing, but like I have it. This is a bit scuffed, but like I have it saved in this way because I didn't want to have 3 different files. But then like this is just more work for me. So what you should instead do is to have them separated because this is dumb. The 1920 divided by 3 is what? Calculator. 1920 divided by 3, 640. So for this background asset, it's essentially 1920p times 640p. And you don't need things to be big. It's fine to be small. Like that is considered as small because it's not a 4K asset. Like I don't really work with 4K assets that much. Like I mainly work with like 2K, like 1920 or 2048. Hold on, what's the sizing? I forgot the sizing, but I aim for like 2K as like the range for my assets whenever possible. But it doesn't have to be high res as long as it's 1920 or 1080p. That's all you need. Now where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about the 5 senses. And then what else? Oh, you know what? Should I add the detail here? Oh, that's fine. What else? What else? Yeah. But yeah, like when you're making when you're building out a scene like this, like these little details, like they can add up, and they can like when you add a lot of little detail over and over again, like they end up telling more of a story, even though you're not like actually telling a story with them individually. Like again, back to this shot here. Like I used black picture frames for these, and then like these are like metal frames, and this is like a white frame like and then the the binder or the calendar being red instead of gray. It tells a small story about like how about how Shintaro doesn't really have matching picture frames, or like how maybe he instead separates things based on a category. Like these here are all like quote unquote his drawings, and this here it's an important framed picture to put on. That's why it's in white. And then the binder here being red, because in the beginning you can see that it's gray, then it's red. And like it can also be used to signify that he's more accepting of his past, because red is his color after all. Then in the scenes prior, it's all gray. Like it's like his life is it can be interpreted as like his life is a bit more dull, but it's not entirely the case, because like he has other things going on for him. So I love adding detail. Yeah, that's how I build huge scenes. Oh wait, hold on, let me adjust. Where's my OBS? Oh man. Okay, there we go. Alright, what's the next slide? Tutorials, alright. I didn't have notes for this properly, but I didn't have notes for this properly written down, so you'll have to write notes yourself. So first off, the thing that I wanted to cover is how to get... Oh, hold on, let me... where is it? The first thing that I want to cover is how to do this one shot. The frame by frame is it's quite a bit of work, but it's worth it, in my opinion. So how I did it is that at first, I think, check again. Oh, I'm gonna make sure that I don't leak anything, because I have a lot of NDA work on the side. Okay. The first thing I did is that I took notes of where, like, how many frames I'll be doing, and then like I took note of like the timing of all the frames. First off, I can show off this. This year, this is the base that I took from a website called Texture Labs. Let me make it so that okay, all right. You want free textures, you can go onto this website. Not sponsored, but I wish I was. Where is it? Texture Labs, there it is. They provide like a really high res textures. I think you can get up to like 8K. You know, like on some textures, they can provide you 8K textures. Like first, I took this thing, this film base, this film roll base, and then after that, I did the wait. Okay, this is the same thing. And then after that, I just drew. I just drew over the things based on the timing of the frames. Because I would go frame by frame, marking down where the words would go, or rather where the words would start. And I did that with keeping in mind that I'm gonna be animating this at 12 frames per second. So you're gonna have to do a bit of brute force work to get this done. So at first, again there's this layer, and then I drew over the thing frame by frame in whichever software that you prefer. I did this in CSV. And then I used a brush texture that looks a bit rough. Okay, it's kind of like a pen, kind of like a marker, kind of like a pencil, kind of like a highlighter. But like the most important part is that you're using a textured pen. And when you're doing this, you need to have a decent understanding of the 12 principles of animation, which I'm not gonna get into. That is something you'll have to learn on like learn by yourself. And then I also made this layer for like the white specks and scribbles. The scribbles on Ayano's face. That is, those are the layers. And then what made this a bit difficult is that where is it? I had to do this manually by putting in the frames one by one, because I wanted to make sure that the pictures look high res, or at least high res enough. Like as you can see here, Whereas this layer is there for this. Like I have to rotate them manually one by one and scale them down. Like it's it's very tedious, but it's all part of the process to make something that looks really cool for 2 seconds. But like like as long as you're as you're having fun making something that looks cool, anything can be worth it. And then after that, after I'm done doing this 2 more times, because I had to do that for this one as well. I had to do that for this one as well. Load. Let's fit it to this. These are these are the parts. The first section, it just goes up to this part. It's in the middle of changing, and the part it's just this one word, and the last part is just also one word. And then after all that, I had to go in frame by frame, frame by frame, changing the position, changing the like keyframing the position of those film layers. And having it so that it matches with the song. And then I needed to make sure that everything is still centered. And I think I mainly used the title action frame. No. Oh yeah. Wait, is it? Oh wait, no, I think I just used oh yeah, okay. This is an old old scrapped version of this scene. I just use that as a reference for like the positioning. That's how I kept it going in the middle. Then if you make it so that it looks like it's being placed perfectly and evenly, it's not gonna look natural. So what I added on top of that is a bit of wiggle. Gosh, it. And the transform thingy. Added wiggle to the position. 12 times per second, 5 units there. And then a bit of wiggle to the rotation as well. 12 times per second, 5.5 units or degrees. That's how there's like a slight what would you call it? Slight imperfections between each frame. And then I also added like a dirty glass. Like, oh, did I? Let me check. Oh, okay. The audio is routed. Gotcha. This is like a dirty glass thing, and then what else? Oh, this is like an effect that I use a lot. I call it blur sharpen. It's to make something look a bit more retro. Let me off. Let me show. I don't think you'll be able to see this on stream. I made a preset. It's called where you just add blur. Like I use fast box blur, and I add like around 0.4, 0.5, sometimes 0.8, depending on how much I want it, how much I want this to get to look a bit more scuffed. And then I add sharpen by 125. So if I zoom in on, let's say, this part here, disable that, enable. You can see that it looks like there's a lot more there's a bit more noise going on, and it makes it so that on the edges there's a bit of an outline going on, and like it looks a bit more it just adds more character to how your scenes look. And I would usually reserve this if I want to make something look like it's shot on camera or if it's done on paper. Like I don't employ this too many times, but it's a thing that just adds texture to your work. Yeah, that's how I did this. That's that is how you do the frame by frame. As inspired by in my storyboard, this this thing here. Like this is basically my inspiration for my frame by frame style. Okay, next on the list is the manga style. Whoa, okay. Where is it? Let's go in the art. Oh yeah, this is it. So let's go layer by layer. Just organize everything. Okay, here. Okay, the first thing you want to do is to use an effect called fine edges. There. And let me turn off everything. So when you use fine edges, it makes it so that the art basically just turns into line art. But it's not perfect because you can see that there's a lot of things going on still, because it really depends on the art that you're working with. Excuse me. And then the next thing you want to do is to add a desaturation. Like you make it desaturated so that it looks black and white. And then the issue about using fine edges as is that it just has too much detail going on. And to remove detail, is just use these two effects here. Use curves. Oh wait. And then you use blur. Well, I think I'm tripping. Oh wait, no. Okay, never mind. I set up these curves so that the line art shows more clearly. But I think if I increase the blur by a bit more. Oh yeah, that's it. If you want to make the line art less detailed, just add more blur. That's how you that's how you get this first base layer done. Okay. Next is turn off the alpha on that. Next is the brush stroke layer. Press over this. Let me start from the top. I need it just for the black part of the art to come through, because that like I needed because I only wanted the black part to be done in a hatching style, so I use extract. This is how the art looks originally, and then I use extract. Then I get just that. But if you have trouble with your art, you can use curves to adjust where, like how much detail you're taking in and out. But like for this one, I did not have to use curves. Oops. And then brush strokes. I think. Oh yeah. If you use this layer, like this composition as is, the brush strokes will go a bit crazy. Let me try and render this in half. Yeah, they're gonna be moving, and then if you want that look, then you can keep it as is. But if you don't want that look, Then after you're done with the whole process, you need to freeze frame this comp. So, and then after that, what do I do? Oh yeah, because of how the way brush strokes work, there will be like an offset in where it is. So like if I turn off transform and just have brush strokes on, you can see that she's being moved down to the she's moved down and to the left. So to offset that, you just need to take note of the stroke length here and the angle. And if it's a 45-degree angle, then you just plus 20 on the x-axis and minus 20 on the y-axis. You can just divide the amount equally. But if you need, if you're doing like an off angle, then this is where math comes in. Something I do in my MVs sometimes is I would do the Pythagoras theorem to calculate the I would do that to calculate the distance for certain angles. But you could just eyeball it. That works too. But like sometimes I like being extra. I like to use the Pythagoras theorem. So yeah, brushstrokes and then transform to offset the positioning from the brushstrokes, and then you use fill. Just make it completely black like that, and then what you want to do is to duplicate this layer, but you only keep the extract effect, and then if you want, you can add a key cleaner, and that layer should look like this. And from there, what you do is you take these two layers, take the previous layer that you were working on, set it to alpha matte, and that's how you make the brushstrokes. And then the next bit, okay, this is not needed. This is just an extra bit from the thing. Yeah, and like that's basically how you do the manga style effect. And this also applies to pretty much anything else you can think of. So if I want to do this to some random asset, let me see. Let me grab a random asset. Okay, let's see. let's say I want to do that to a potted plant. I just select all the layers I want to replace, hold Alt, then drag that into your timeline. And then there, it looks like it kind of looks like it's in the manga. Like of course you'll have to like fine tune it, but basically there. It's halfway there, and then you just have to adjust it. That is how you do the manga style. Now, last but not least, this is pretty basic, but like, I think people would still be interested in how to do the film camera look. Right, let's get this loading. Active camera. So, when you want to do a film camera look, first and foremost, you gotta know what you wanna like, what kind of look you wanna go for. Like, do you wanna go for like the old vintage camera from like the 20s, or do you wanna go for like camera from let's say the 90s? No, not even 90s. 80s. Like, do you want to go for a camera look from the 80s, or do you want to go for a digital camera, a digital tape look from, or not digital, or do you want to go for a tape look from the 90s, or is it 2000s? No, 2000s. They use cards, and then and then after that, after the 2000s, that's where it gets a bit muddy. But the first thing you have to decide is to decide which film look you want to go for. And then once you have that in mind, you kind of have to just study how that picture looks and decide what effects you want to use. For this one, I wanted to go for a I wanted to go for an overexposed camera, film camera look that you can get on like an old. It's a look that you can get from using an old film roll, like an expired film roll. That's why I made things look a bit more washed out and overexposed, and that's how I approach this. So at first, I built out a scene. The scene, like without the effects, it just looks like this. Oh, and then I applied a like a sepia filter on top. Like that is like how this looks without anything going on. Okay, let me just solo that. And then from there, you gotta trust the process. You gotta trust the process and add things one by one. First off, you should do this. Yeah, you just do this. Okay, let me walk you through. So first off, I used a bunch of lens flare. So lens flare before and after. I just wanted it to fill in vertically because of the sun. It's in the middle, so the lens flare has to be right in the center. And then glow, of course. It's a very sunny scene. And then vignette. Like some people don't like using CC vignette, but like I mainly use vanilla After Effects. Like I don't really use a lot of plugins, except for one, which is what I'm gonna show you right now. This is a plugin called Magic Bullet Looks. Does a lot of things here. So I think I based this off of my default look. Like this is this is like my default template, and that I work off of. But then I add a bunch of things to it. Let me just walk you through one by one. And then I can delete this because I don't use that. So first off, diffusion. Diffusion, you just diffuse the light, makes things look a bit more even. It's like right here you can see it's a bit like it's pretty dark, but like I want the light to look a bit more I want the light to look like it's blasting towards the camera. So diffusion just helps do that. Then haze flare, like what this does is that it fills like it kind of just fills up the lights on the sides. And then because I wanted this to look like it's a really old film that's been expired, I added a lot of lens vignette. Then edge softness because a lot of old cameras have a lot of what's the word? It's like they have like this blur on the sides on the lenses. And then old cameras that are not properly maintained have a lot of chromatic aberration. And also I think chromatic aberration in general looks good. That's just me. Then Colorista, whoa, I went crazy here. I think oh yeah, I jacked up the midtones into the orange areas. That's mainly the thing that I did here. Then shadows, I didn't do too much there, but like I did in fact make it a lot darker on the edges because of the vignette. That's how I made it to look like that. Then of course, film grain. Typically, when I use film grain, I would only use 1.5 or 3% if I want to push it. But because I want it to look like an old camera, I added 6%. And I like how it looks for this case. But that's not all. Because if you're using an old camera, you also got to think about how the thing looks in the viewfinder. Like when you're holding the camera in your own hands, like you got to think about how the camera UI will all look like. And it's there. That's it. And then I added more detail. Like these are not realistic detail, but like they're there to fill in space, and they if you don't think about it too much, they look somewhat convincing. They're not the most accurate, but like they work. Then a small detail that I like. Is that this one? This layer? No, it's not. This layer? Okay, is it? The detail that I added is I wanted to make the edges look like it's on a really bad roll of film. So I made the edges rough. No, I did not. I did not. Well, I mean, I did go rough. Anyway, I made it rough, and then I also added like a thing here, little a little loop to this, so that you can see the border just moving in every frame. Now, a different way you can approach this is to use time and then times and multiply by kind of 360 or something. However, I don't like doing that because if you have if you have a scene that is long, like 2 minutes or something, doing so will end up uh, crashing your After Effects. So something I've learned instead is to do it's to just keyframe something, and then you set it to loop or loop out, and then that way it won't it won't explode. Because if you use time times like I don't know 360, this will go on for so long that eventually the number on your effect will reach a point where After Effects cannot support what's going on. It's gonna be too high for AE to work on it. So it's always best to keep things on the loop, in my opinion, and based on my experiences. That's why I always use loops like that. What else? Did I put anything else? I think I just added more things to the foreground. Yeah, just more details around the frames. And then, oh yeah, this is the blur sharpen effect. It's my bread and butter in making things look a bit more noisy and a bit more aged. Blur sharpen, fastbox blur. I set it to 0.6, sharpen at 150. That's how you make it look a bit more aged and blurry. That's how I do my film camera look, or at least to one of them, because I have other instances where I made something look like it's on a film camera. Let's see if I have any I've done. Okay, this one For this one, I made it look like it's shot on a dinky ass digital camera. Sorry, forget my language. I made it look like it's shot on a really dinky film camera with a reverse fisheye lens going on. And I forgot how I did this, but I think it worked well. And then, especially in the chorus, ooh, well, this is not. Okay, this year, like, I used an effect called time warp, or is it white time? White time, I think. And that makes it so that there's this ghost thing going on, which is prevalent in early 2000s music videos that are uploaded to YouTube, and then since then has been remastered a bunch of times. It looks really scuffed. That is the look that I went for here. And, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, that's basically it for my tutorials. I did not write anything down. But if you're taking notes on stream, hope that I hope that was informational. Now, okay. Oh wait, before we go into the Q&A segment, I would like to share the scrapped frame by frame thing. Originally, it looked like this. Oh, let me change my thing real quick. Okay. Originally, it looked like this. Like in this initial version, in this thing, it took up like the entire segment of this one, like this entire section in the chorus, and I don't think it did like I don't think the pacing was right, so I had to change it so that it only took up like the second half of that one line, and also it's just less work for me to do less of that section. And then the issue that I had with this is that it looked too pixelated. Also, in this version, I had it Among Us, but it's scrapped, so it's not there anymore. And I also employed more of the 12 principles because of how I timed the movements. There's a bit of squash and stretch, and then I did a bit of easing. Wait, no, yeah, I did quite a bit of easing and arcs in the movements at for all. See when you see the A coming in. See this squash and stretch. It's like it's on a roller coaster. Oh my god. So how I did that was oh, let me this screen. Okay, here we go. How I did that is, yeah, I cannot show my thing, but I can show this. Oh, never mind. Like I exported the PNGs of the of this section into a folder, and then I took a screenshot of it, and then from there, what I did is I just scribbled on it. The caveat of doing this is that it looks pretty pixelated. You zoom in, and I wasn't a fan of this, or rather, like it doesn't match the overall look, the MV. So I opted to just scrap this and go for the final version that we have in the MV. Where is it? Which looked like. Which like in the final version, I did not employ much of the 12 principles, but overall, I think I like it a lot better. And that basically covers everything that I wanted to talk about. Now it's the Q&A time. I have a few questions prepared from the audience. Oh shit. Bro. Okay. Okay, sorry. Excuse me. Things got a bit scuffed. Right. The Q&A time. So, a few questions that I got. Number one. What software do I use? Okay, I'm sorry for laughing. But I use After Effects 2020, and I use the only main plugin that I use is just Magic Bullet Looks, and then I have a few other scripts that I use, mainly decompose text and ease copy. Like those two are like the only scripts that I mainly use. And then sometimes I'll use AFP hair rig. Uh, yeah, like for the most part, I don't really use any plugins aside from Magic Bullet Looks. But even then, I can still replicate the look of Magic Bullet Looks without that plugin. But it's just more convenient to have it. If you want to use the scripts that I use, I get them from, I think it's a website called AE Scripts. AE Scripts. Let me leave them here. In chat. There we go. And then the effects that I use. Oh no, the scripts that I use are decompose text. It's a you can name your price on this. So like it says that like when you look at this the script, like like the default number is like $15, but you can just change it to $0 and make it free. So what this script does is that it decomposes the text. It breaks down the text layer into either words, lines, or characters. So if you want to do topography, this is really convenient. And then next thing I use is ease copy, because I often just make my own motion graphs. What's the word here? I forgot what the thing is called. Like in the graph editor, like I always just make my own graphs for like the easing. And I just use ease copy because I would just make the ease and then I would just copy them over and over again. And it's also a name your price thing, and you can change the price from $15 on the website to you can just type in 0 and it's also free. Oh, I forgot. I also have one more script that I use. It's called a Rift, and what this is also convenient for doing topography. Like all of my scripts are all just for topography. And in the entire stream, I did not talk about the topography at all. But uh, Rift is helpful for when you don't really want to time things, but you want to nudge things in a way that, that applies to a bunch of different layers. Especially when you use decomposed text, because when you use decomposed text, it will make a lot of layers based on your text layer. Rift is also another plugin where you can name your price to $0, so it makes it free. So yeah, like those are the plugins. This is my software and my plugins. And, yeah. Oh, and then I highly recommend just sitting down and using all of the effects in vanilla After Effects and figuring out what each of them does, and then writing down the ones that you like, because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of you can do a lot. You can do so much with just base After Effects without any plugins. And the scripts are just there to make your life a lot easier. But like again, you can do you can do a lot without needing any plugins. Okay, another question that I got is how long have I been animating? I've been animating since 2019. In 2019, my first animation was very simple. It looked okay, bare bones, even. And it took me like 10 months to finish one video. but um I started getting more serious about doing After Effects MVs since around 2021. So in total, since 2019, I've been animating for like 7 years. Oh my goodness, I'm old. Like I forget, like I still feel like I'm new when it comes to making MVs, but so, sometimes I just forget that I've been doing this for a while. Okay, and then oh, on the topic of how long it took for me to animate MVs, how long? I got a question. How long did I take to animate the Remind Blue MV for Juby? The Remind Blue MV, like I worked on that for like a little over a week. I think it was like 1.5 weeks. I think I worked on it in like early February, and then I finished it around mid February. Not even mid February, like before that. It didn't take me it did not take me long to work on that. But on average, I usually spend 3 days to 5 days, or maybe up to 1 week for one video. It's like over time, something I've learned to do over time is to just make presets. Like if I have to learn to do something from scratch once, I don't want to have to do the thing from scratch again. So what I did is that I would have a lot of presets, from like project templates to effect presets on AE, like the blur sharpen thing. Like I have a preset made just for that because of how often I would use it for creating the film look. Okay, let me close my After Effects. Well, Actually, I'll leave it up just in case. Just in case I need to go back. Yeah, like I spend like less than 1 week for most MVs these days because I just have a lot of presets from like you can see from the beginning. Like I have the storyboard template written out, and I just use that as a base every time I work on a new project. Like I need to streamline my process if I want to do this as like a full-time thing. And having templates for every little thing and presets for every little thing, it just like it will really help. And it really like it's I think it's better when you make your own presets instead of having presets made by other people, because when you know more about how things work, like you have more control about how you have more control over how things will look. And if your presets just don't look right, then you'll know how to adjust that. Whereas if you're using presets made by other people, then you're gonna spend a bit more time trying to figure out how to use those presets. So always make your own presets and make your own templates. Like that is only if you that is if you care about wanting to save time. But if you want to take your time and redo things from scratch all the time, it's up to you. I'm not gonna force you. It's just a heck of a lot more convenient if you make presets. Take a shot every time I say presets. Okay, next question that I got is, was I a big fan of the Kagero project? Yeah, it was my gateway into the Vocaloid scene, so I'm pretty much a big fan. However, I'm not entirely too sure. I'm not entirely too sure about the details of the lore. But like I know the gist of it. I've listened to most of the songs. Well, not most of the songs, but like I listened to all of the songs covered by Juby. So I kind of know what the story is, and I also watched the Mekaku City actors uh, anime. So like I also know the gist of what's going on based on uh, uh, watching a bunch of different things, not in order. But like despite that, like I still I just really like the songs. And the last question that I got is, what was it like working with Juby, Phonic, and the team? Dude, the team was goaded. Well, I mean, like I worked with the just the with just the visual side. I worked with Yijin and Tirami, and those two, like they are so collaborative, and like the art that they made were so good. Like we came together to basically make sure that everything from start to finish looked really good. And like Tirami, I want to shout out Tirami for helping out with going through the details and checking if things are if things look good. And then one time, like near the end, Jeremy noticed that there's a hole in the art that I did not notice. So like, I had to go in and fill that up, and then like we just had like a lot of rapport, and then things were just really smooth and nice with them. And I wish to work with them again in the future. That's it. That's all the questions, I guess. If there's nothing from chat, suppose I can end stream. Yeah. Oh my god, that was basically like a 2 hour lecture. Oh goodness, how do professors do this every day? Like they give like, yeah, like 4 hour lectures, 6 hours of lectures in a day. Goodness me. I hope the lecture was informative. I hope that y'all took notes, and hope I hope that next time I can share more knowledge on stream with y'all. Okay. Now what is the plan now? Shall we raid? Shall we raid anybody? Let's see. Let me play this song. Oh, I shall raid a friend of mine, Rinky. She is playing Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Yep. Y'all, thank you very much for coming. I hope y'all have a nice day. And remember to save in After Effects. And make backups. Because you never know. You never know when your After Effects would cause your PC to blue screen and corrupt your project file. Because that has happened to me. That has happened to me once, and you do not want that to happen to you. Anyway, y'all have a nice day. Bye bye.
Hi Edmund! Thank you so much for the raid! Hi, hi! How are you doing? Wait. What a fun raid message. What were you doing? You've had a great stream. Did you already use your new overlays? They're super pretty. Two-hour lecture on animating MVs. Holy shit! Wait, that would actually be interesting to me. Is the VOD still up? I feel like that's something I wanna rewatch. How do professors do this every day? I have no clue. I have no clue whatsoever. They're probably not even thinking about it at this point. It's kind of just whatever. Yeah. Maybe, okay, he doesn't absorb them straight away. That's good.